Hey YouTube, it's April. I today am 5 weeks out from having my immediate dentures placed. So that's like really cool. But today I wanted to have a discussion with everybody about E-Day. A lot of people that I've been communicating with online have mentioned that their E-Day is coming up, or their E-Day is scheduled, or they're getting ready to schedule. And we've got tons and tons of questions about it. And you guys, E-Day is the first day of the rest of your life as a denture wearer. And I know that's a weird way to think about it, but when you go in there, you walk in with teeth. And when you walk out with new teeth. They should be placed. And there's a lot of ways. I've mostly questions about, did you get gas, or were you put out, or, how that went for me. So my situation is not super like everybody else's, but I'll go ahead and tell you what I did. I went to my immediate, or not my immediate, my regular dentist, and we did immediate dentures. And so on September 30th of 2020, they went ahead and removed all of my posterior teeth. So everything in the back, these front 6 are my teeth. I kept those. But what happened was I had all these posterior teeth removed. And then 4 months later, on January 12th, I had my last 8 front teeth removed. So I had two E-Days. Do I think it would have been easier to do it all at one time? Definitely. My dentist really wanted me to have my front 8 teeth removed at the same time. But I didn't want to run around for a few months with no teeth. Because the original plan for me was to go right into a permanent denture instead of a temporary denture. My permanent denture got lost in the mail, and to compensate me for my time and my trouble, they made me a temporary denture, and then I'm going back 6 months to a year. It's kind of at my discretion. I think I'm going to try and keep these temporaries for as long as possible so that all my healing is done and all that stuff. That way my new denture fits, and it's going to fit for a very long time. But E-Day, so September 30th was my first shot at E-Day. And the way it went down for me was my dentist, he wanted me to just come in and get the shots and have the tooth pulled. And I was like, absolutely not. I cannot do that. I asked about laughing gas, and he said that the nose piece would kind of be in his way. And so what we agreed on was I went in, and he wrote me a prescription for 3 teeny tiny 5 milligram Valiums. So I took 1 Valium the night before. I had my extraction so I could sleep okay. And then I took 2 tiny Valiums 1 hour before my appointment so that they had time to onboard. And I was a little drunk, when I got to the dentist's office. The Valium was fine. So I got my Valium. They did the shots. I think the shots is the thing everybody worries about when they go to the dentist. At least that's my least favorite part. And, that first one, that one sucks. But after that, as he's moving along the mouth, and he did my mouth one side at a time, but as things are moving along, each shot hurts a little less because it's numbing into the area where they're shooting you. So the first one's a bummer, but after that, it's pretty smooth sailing. Now, if he'd have been, if he would have been a willing participant in giving me the gas, I definitely would have had it. So, that's one way to do it. You go in there, you take some meds to kind of calm your nerves, and you have this done. You're awake, you get the shots, and you just sit there and wait for them to take your teeth out. That's fine. Or some people go to an oral surgeon, which was not affordable for me, so I didn't do that. The oral surgeon would have been the way I'd like to have done it, because when you go to the oral surgeon, a lot of times they will give you anesthesia. You'll go in there with teeth, and you'll wake up with new teeth. You're none the wiser. So that's, kind of awesome, but not something I could afford to do. But yeah, there's lots of different ways to have it done. There's lots of different ways your dentist may want to do it. And if they're willing to give you anything to make you feel more comfortable, I'd say do it. But so how long did it take? The first on September 30th of last year when I had all my posterior teeth removed, I was in there for 1 hour. They pulled 16 teeth in 1 hour. And I mean, that includes the, 20 minutes or whatever they wait while the shots kick in and do their thing or whatever. So, I mean, it was fast. I went in there and seriously, guys, I was like impressed. Like, got my shots. I'm sitting there laying down. He says, okay, hang on. You're going to feel some pressure, and just pop, and a tooth came flying out. Like, it was crazy. Now, I did have trouble. I want to say, well, it would have been my 5th tooth on either side, because they kept my front 8, and the 2, I guess it was my 4th tooth. So those 2, I was only going to keep 6 teeth in the front. I wound up keeping 8 because it was like a tap out session. I couldn't do any more. The shots weren't doing any more for me. And he didn't want to give me any more Novocaine that day. So we had the 16 teeth out, and then we waited a few months, and then I had the last 8 removed. Now when I had the last 8 removed, seriously, I was in the chair for like half an hour. And that's the 20 minutes for the shots to kick in too. I mean, it was like pop, 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 and they were out. You're really bloody. That's gross. So when you go to the dentist, don't wear this. Wear something you don't mind bleeding on, okay? Something black, something really comfortable. My E-Day uniform was a pair of leggings and an oversized black t-shirt and a hoodie. So, whatever is going to make you the most comfortable, that's what you wear. I didn't give a shit about looking nice. I didn't, whatever. I knew I was not going to feel good when we got out. So when they go in there, they give you the shots, they pull your teeth. That's really, like having the teeth removed is uncomfortable, but it's not painful, okay? There's a lot of pressure. You can feel things wiggling and moving, but overall, it's not the end of the world. I swear. It's not that bad, or at least it wasn't for me. And you leave the dentist's office with new teeth. And I think that's the weirdest thing, is because you don't know how to hold your mouth. These muscles don't know what to do to keep the denture up or in. And everything's feeling really strange and really different. But you've still got all the Novocaine on, so nothing hurts. So you get up, you walk out, you get a ride home, because if you did like I did and took a Valium, you can't drive. And you go home, and that's what you do. And then a few hours goes by, and the Novocaine wears off, and you start thinking, hot damn, what did I do? Because that's when I was the roughest. I'd say, really though, it was like 6 or 7 hours before I started feeling things in my mouth again. So that's one thing that I just wanted to share with you guys. E-Day is not bad. You go in, you get your shots, they pull your teeth, and you leave with new teeth. It's really after E-Day, the hours after, you're like, what do I do? How's this work? I can't talk. It's just kind of a mess. But you will do fine. You'll do fine. I did. I think I posted, oh gosh, without looking at my channel, I'd say 2 or 3 hours after I had my teeth removed, and then I posted again the next morning. And my speech was pretty cleared up after a couple hours. Obviously, there was some crazy noises. I still, when I make S sounds sometimes, whistle. There's this little tiny gap there, and sometimes I whistle out of that, and it just is what it is. So I'm still working on that. But overall, E-Day's not bad. It's the hours following after you go home, because the dentist sends you home. I got like a little piece of paper that said, do your saltwater rinse at this time, and you guys do whatever the dentist paper or aftercare instructions say to do, because I'm not your dentist, okay? So whatever your dentist wants you to do that. So my dentist told me to leave mine in for 72 hours, because this temporary denture, he said, acts as a Band-Aid for the bleeding. It's going to stop, because you can't put gauze in there because you got your teeth in. So you go home with your denture in, and it's got to stay there. And you're going to be like, there's going to be blood coming out the top, and they're going to be all over your pretty new pearlies, and it's gross. Leave them in for 72 hours. Do not take them out of your mouth. Okay, cool. Except I got brand new white teeth. I drink coffee, and I smoke cigarettes. And no, I shouldn't have been smoking right after my extractions. That's one easy way to get a dry socket. Thankfully, I didn't get one this time. After my first E-Day, after my first round of extractions, I did wind up with a dry socket, and that sucked. But I digress. So yeah, I was like, these things are white and nice and straight, and I'm not screwing them up. And you guys know, I brushed the pink part of my denture with the denture brush, and then I brushed the actual teeth with a toddler, like a baby toothbrush, because I don't want them to get scratched or abrased or anything. I don't want them collecting any odors or stains or anything like that. So keep them in for the first 72 hours. Do not take them out, he said. Okay, cool. Except for that's not going to work for me because they get filled up with blood. So I would pop them out really fast, wash them off, and then back in the mouth. But, you know, I mean, don't leave them out for a long time because then you have the potential to swell up like a balloon and not be able to get the teeth back in. And then you're without teeth for who knows how long. I don't know how long. I didn't play that game. But, so, I mean, I think it's fine. And talk to your dentist. My dentist said don't take them out for nothing or nobody, but I did pop them out and rinse them and put them back in my mouth just because the bloody taste was a little much for me. But the other thing I wanted to say is a lot of times, you know, you stub your toe or, you know, you have a headache or, you know, whatever, and you can rough it. You're not going to take any Tylenol for that. That's stupid. This is not one of those times you rough it. E-Day is not a rough it time. You take your meds. I don't like taking meds. I don't like narcotics. I don't like Tylenol. I don't like ibuprofen. I took Excedrin pretty heavily in high school because I did have migraines, but I hate medication. Hate it. But if you do not stay on top of your medication, it's going to get away from you, and it's hard as hell to catch up with it. If your pain gets away, it's gone. I mean, you're going to be hurting for a while. So it's not comfortable. It is sore. It does hurt. I'm not going to, you know, I'm not going to be that guy who's like, yeah, I got my teeth punched out. No, it's nothing. Because it's not nothing, okay? But it's not awful either. It's not anything like an abscess tooth. It was way easier than that. So, I mean, if you're here and you're watching my denture channel, then yeah, you've had an abscess tooth before, or you're just my mom who's cool and watches because she's nice. So an abscess tooth sucks. An abscess tooth is horrible. An abscess tooth is worse than giving birth. I'm certain of that. This is not like that. This is not that bad. The only difference is this is pain you can control, whereas an abscess tooth is pain you cannot control. So take your meds. So I took, you know, the Vicodin right after I left the dentist's office like they told me to. I did not stay on the Vicodin because I tend to get sick when I take that. But I was alternating ibuprofen, Tylenol, ibuprofen, Tylenol, ibuprofen, Tylenol, at whatever hour increments I needed to do it throughout the day. For days. I mean, I think day 5 was finally the day I stopped taking Tylenol and ibuprofen like a crazy person. And then after that, after day 7, you guys, I was feeling awesome. So yeah, post-care, follow your dentist's instructions, but stay on your meds. And also, if you have to take them out, like if you just can't stand it, because I couldn't, pop it out, rinse it off, and stick it back in your mouth. Somebody asked about adhesive. Adhesive's great, and if you have fresh instructions, I wouldn't put the adhesive anywhere near those. So if you've got, you know, 3 days after E-Day and you're like, shit, these things won't stay up, I would just put just a little bit of adhesive on the roof of the mouth and avoid anywhere you've got open wounds. Because that adhesive is sticky, and sometimes if you've got it on there really good, and I mean, it's difficult sometimes to remove your denture, and you can actually tear some of that open or maybe pull a blood clot out and give yourself a dry socket that way. Not something I would recommend. I wouldn't put anything on the extraction sites, even the Benzodent that I was telling you guys about. Don't put that on an extraction site. That is just for sore spots in the mouth from the denture rubbing. The Orajel mouth rinse was fine. I did use that when I had I think day 3 was when I was brave enough to use that, you know, in the mouth to flush everything out. But be very careful with whatever you put inside your mouth, whether it's adhesive or pain relief cream or gel or mouth rinse. Talk to your dentist and find out what they think is best for you. I tended to avoid my extraction sites at all costs with anything other than the Orajel mouth rinse and just plain saltwater rinse, because I didn't want those areas to get dirty and I didn't want to upset anything. If you do need adhesive a few days after extractions, another thing I would say is, again, avoid the extraction site itself. Don't put it there. But when you're cleaning, a lot of times the best way to get the adhesive out is from the back forward. You need to be careful not to bump or bother your extraction sites too. So that's really important. I'm really sorry, you guys. My work phone's ringing. I'm just trying to see who it is. Oh, and I missed it. Darn it. Oh, it was a sales call. But anyways, I mean, that's my recommendation in that regard, is be extremely careful what you put on or around your extraction sites, because you do not want to hurt yourself or cause yourself any additional discomfort. But stay on your meds after E-Day. And make sure, I'm telling you guys right now, nothing is better than ice for your face. I didn't have hardly any swelling after E-Day, and I attribute most of that to ice. I just have like some of those, you know, like gel ice packs, and anytime, I mean like every hour, I would just like ice my face for like 20 minutes. Now I know that's not feasible if you're going back to work in 2 or 3 days, but I kept up on the ice routine for, I think, through day 4. And then day 5, I was kind of over it, because I think day 4 was when I was probably at the height of my swelling. And my swelling really wasn't all that bad. But I think a lot of it had to do with the ice. I loved the ice. It felt good. It felt cold. And then in the evening before bed, I was eating just like a bowl of ice cream. You know, it felt good. Ice cream was awesome. Ice packs were really nice. And just making sure that you keep your face iced, I think is going to help you a lot. Drink lots of ice water. That's another thing I noticed right after E-Day. I think it was day 2. I could not get enough to drink. And I think it's because you're so slobbery after you have your teeth pulled. But E-Day, you guys, I swear, it's not all that bad. Like I said, the way it worked out for me, just kind of step by step, was I took 2 Valium an hour before my appointment. I showed up. They gave me the numbing shots. Waited, you know, 10-20 minutes. And then we went to town. And they came out quick. I mean, it was like no time to have all those teeth pulled. So it's really not bad. And you really don't notice, you know, how inconvenient your day is going to be until about 6 or 7 hours later. My dentist only does, you know, major extractions or lots of extractions at the end of the day. September, I guess, my last round of extractions, I want to say, was on a Wednesday. My dentist's office is closed on Fridays, and you know, so if you're gonna have like a lot of questions or something, if your dentist will let you do it, I would suggest, because this is what I did with my second round of extractions, was I did it on a Tuesday. So if I was going to have any trouble Wednesday or Thursday, I could call them up and say, hey, you know, this is bugging me, or this is wrong, or I'm having a problem here. And they could help me out, or maybe squeeze me back in. So if you can get in to see your dentist early in the week, I think that's better, because they'll be available if, you know, you have some problems or some trouble or something. With my first round of extractions, I'll tell you what, on day 3, I got really sick because I was taking the Valium like they told me to take, or not the Valium, shoot, the Vicodin. I was taking the Vicodin like they said to, and the Vicodin made me crazy nauseous. So that's why I didn't take the Vicodin the second go, because I knew better the first time, you know. But I did it because my dentist said to, and I knew my body says no to Vicodin. So I was just crazy, crazy on the Tylenol and ibuprofen. Just stay ahead of your pain and keep ice on your face, and you're going to be just fine. Like I said, if there's anything you can't stand or if the denture won't stand, go ahead and use some glue or, whatever you got to do. Just make sure you're not putting anything on those extraction sites because it can cause some additional discomfort. But yeah, if my dentist had given me gas, heck yeah, I'd have taken the gas. That stuff's awesome. But it just wasn't an option for me. But if it's an option for you, I would do it. If it's an option for you to go to an oral surgeon and be put to sleep to have this done, do it. Just wasn't feasibly affordable for me. So, anyway, I just wanted to talk a little bit about E-Day, you guys. It's not the worst thing ever. In fact, 2-3 days after that, the emotions I had was, these dentures are amazing. I'm feeling really good about myself. And just go into it with a good mindset. If your perspective is like, oh no, I'm going to be a freak with no teeth, that's how you're going to feel. I went into it thinking, hell yeah, I'm going to look nice and be healthy. And so far, I look a whole lot better and I'm healthy. So it's been awesome, you guys. I am 5 weeks out from having my immediate dentures replaced. And in those 5 weeks, I have not had a dental infection. Now, I cannot tell you the last time it's been 5 weeks with no dental infection. And I got weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and hopefully years to go before I ever have to experience another abscess tooth. Because I do still have a few natural teeth, but they're healthy and they're cool. So I'm not terribly worried about it. If I had known how good I was going to feel after, having all this done, you guys, I'd have done it forever ago. I feel good. I look nice. It's all complimentary from here. That first week's rough. I'm not going to lie to you. Just getting used to everything and holding your mouth a certain way. And, my face muscles would get tired because, the denture's weird and I'm trying to learn how to do all that. After day 7, though, you'll be peachy, man. I promise. It's not going to be bad. But you guys have an awesome, awesome Tuesday, and I'll look forward to seeing you guys soon.